They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And they're right about that, because thanks to Christopher Bell, all my money stayed in Vegas to help pay the Caesars Palace light bill. And although I'm stuck eating ice cube sandwiches all week, just like Ryan Blaney and William Byron, I have to move on. Because for the 34th race of the Cup Series season, and the second of the round of 8, we're headed to Talladega. And there's paint schemes to review. Let's go. Starting us off as always is Ross the Boss. And this guy had me scratching my head on Sunday. Had one of the best cars in practice, qualified 15th, finished 5th there in the spring, but in the race on Sunday, he looked like a prime Danica Patrick. Shitty. Fortunately for him though, this car fucks. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one that sees it, but the camo kind of looks like a watermelon. 10. Thanks to the brilliant minds over at NASCAR headquarters in Daytona, a guy like Austin Syndrome had a legitimate chance this year to make it to the Final Four with a miracle win at Talladega. Having Talladega in the round of 8 sounds like an idea so stupid only Jordan Bianchi and Mamba Smith could come up with it. Even Brian France, the biggest idiot of all idiots, wasn't dumb enough to make Talladega a race that could lock you into the Final Four. But fortunately for us, Austin Syndrome lost the ability to drive a motor vehicle in the round of 12. So now we only have to worry about his teammate, Joey Logano. Aren't the playoffs great? 6. Midway through the season during Ty's crazy run in the in-season tournament, I had serious doubts if Austin Dillon really was the best Dillon brother. But after the events we saw take place on Sunday afternoon, I'm sorry, Austin. I can't believe I ever doubted you. 5. I feel like there's a trend going on that the weeks I call out Noah Gragson for not being able to drive, he actually ends up having a halfway decent weekend. So I'm going to try to put this conspiracy to the test. Noah's best finish of the season came at Talladega in the spring, 4th. There's no way he matches that because he's going to end up upside down in the infield. Sorry, Noah. 8. Coming off back-to-back second-place finishes, it looks like Kyle Larson is in peak form right now. This is all setting up perfectly for Kyle to end up in a massive wreck early on in the race and head to Martinsville in a must-win scenario. Basically what's happened the last 4 years. Glaze on. 10. Between Brad and his 2 drivers, RFK has 17 top 5s this season with no wins. And although I'd love to see Preece or Buescher get it done this weekend, hearing Lee Diffie say Brad Keselowski won this race in that beautiful Australian accent would be pure cinema. 10. After 33 races of calling out Justin Haley for being an overrated bum, Spire Motorsports finally listened and handed him his walking papers. And what better way to start the last 3 races of his Spire Motorsports career than giving him yet another ugly-ass paint scheme. 0. Kyle Busch fans across the globe are celebrating right now because he picked up his 8th top 10 of the season at his hometown track. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. 9. Chase Elliott actually had a really good day going in Vegas until his pit crew decided to let his tire roll into another pit stall. I'm just glad the Chase sexuals have someone else to blame other than Chase himself. You know, because he couldn't have possibly just, won more races in the regular season. But of course, if you ask them, that wasn't his fault either. 5. Everybody's quick to blame Ty Dillon for getting completely obliterated by William Byron. But I think Pixar's to blame. You see, Ty just took it a little too seriously when Lightning McQueen said race cars don't need headlights because the track is always lit. It's not his fault he thought the blinker came on automatically. And it's not a big deal. It's not like it had major playoff implications or anything. And the best part about it, his car looks like a nicotine-addicted Lightning McQueen this week. 10. I'm by no means a Denny Hamlin fan, but you gotta feel sorry for the guy with what's going on with his dad. I hate to say it, but at this point, I'm almost kind of rooting for the guy. But the major kick in the balls about it, had he not wrecked Bubba at Kansas, he'd have 2 chances to become a Cup Series champion. But at least he has 1. 4. At this point, I think Ryan Blaney just likes making life hard for himself. How many years in a row is it now that he's put himself in a must-win scenario? He'll clutch up. 9. I read earlier that in 2026, Kaulig Racing isn't going to receive any kind of manufacturer support. Which with the whole Dodge truck team, that shouldn't surprise anybody, but damn, they're going to suck. 6. Mr. Buescher. That came from deep inside of my soul. 10. If you're Joe Gibbs, you cannot possibly ask for a better first season than what Chase Briscoe's been having. And let's not forget, Chase got his first win at Phoenix. Sleeper pick? 10. Oh, Christopher Bell. I had high hopes and a lot of money riding on you to win at Vegas. I guess that's what I get for trusting in the Ream Machine. 9. Joshy! 8. When Joey Logano took 2 tires and restarted on the front row at the end of the race, I thought my worst nightmare was going to come true. But thankfully, we were all bailed out for at least another week. I still don't feel safe. 6. I hate to throw Bubba under the bus like this, but the reason he got a speeding penalty on pit road is because he was plumb wore the fuck out. I know this information because I saw Bubba Saturday night with Freddie Kraft playing craps at the Cosmo. It was midnight. But I actually gained a lot of respect for the guy, not just because of his dedication to gambling, but when my buddy shook his hand after he came out of the bathroom, he hadn't washed them. And as we all know, real men don't wash their hands. We know where that dick's been. Good shit, Bubba. 10. I felt like I was in a Quentin Tarantino masterpiece when I watched William Byron slam into the rear end of Ty Dillon directly in front of me Sunday afternoon. Not only does the guy fumble the bag massively, he fumbles it directly in front of me. J.K. Rowling herself couldn't have wrote that. William Byron is not a championship caliber driver. I will scream it into the hills for the rest of his career. 8. I love that RCR lets Austin Dillon get his dick wet every couple months just to give him the feeling that he's not going to be an Xfinity Series lifer, even though we all know that's what's going to happen. 4. Unfortunately, I'm not even sure if Todd Gillan had a signing, but if he did, I didn't make it. Don't worry, Todd. I'll save my shoes for next year. 10. Here's your weekly reminder that Riley Herps does in fact still exist. 6. Not only does Zane Smith have that dog in him, he actually has that dog on him. 7. Racetrack and I have a funny, silly, goofy type of relationship, because 9 times out of 10, that's where I get my gas. But one time I went in there late at night, and I had to call the cops because the cashier was getting her ass beat. But I did get free ice cream because of it. Dessert and a show. It was a win-win. 6. Luke Baldwin decided to take a break last week from taking 3 hours to remove the seat from his modified on his TikTok live to let me know I was crazy for the 42 score. He actually said he wants to collab on a paint scheme review in the future. Should I give the guy a chance or what? 5. I'm really hoping y'all come up with something better next year. 3. With everything that Tyler Reddick is going through in his personal life right now, he really deserves to pick up a win before the end of the season. Hopefully everything works out for him. We're thinking of you, Tyler. 6. Ricky Stenhouse is sponsored by Jack Links this weekend, but I'm just wondering, are they vegan? 9. Eli! I will say, I wasn't much of a believer in the Green Machine last week, but that sucker stuck out like a sore thumb on the track. 8. I actually felt really bad for Cody Ware earlier. He posted a TikTok that said, probably the first NASCAR driver that replies to every comment. The video had been up for over an hour. I checked the comment section, nothing there. I said, don't worry, Cody. I'll be your first comment. I just went back to look at the post. The comment's gone. Replying doesn't mean delete it. I hope those steak nuggets give you the shits. 0. Just so you guys know, Ty Gibbs, never going to win a race. 6. You guys really aren't giving Ryan Preece enough credit. He's a man of the people. I go to Avis Friday afternoon to pick up my rental car. Look up at the screen. Whose name do I see? Ryan Preece. Avis Preferred. I take a picture, send it to him, jokingly say, hey, want me to pick up your car for you, buddy? We go back and forth. He's in the middle of a generational run on roulette at the Cosmo. I'm like, dude, we got to meet up. He says, okay, I'll buy you a beer. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out. But this dude is such a good guy, he insisted I give him my Venmo so he could pay for a beer at the track. I told him, no, Ryan, you don't have to do that. It's okay. Guy sends me $50. I'm going to print out that Venmo transaction, have him sign it, and hang it on my wall. I would step out in front of an Amtrak for this guy. And he's looking for revenge. He's winning at Talladega this weekend. Congrats on the baby, and thank you for paying for my spiked lemonade. 10. For whatever reason, Casey Mears has decided to come back again. Finishing 29th at Daytona must have really excited him. 6. Well, you know what they say. Everybody loves Raymond. Except me. 5. So you're telling me, not only did Carson Hocevar run the casino car the week before Vegas, he also ran it the weekend after Vegas. But the week of Vegas, he's in the classic collision car. Make it make sense. Hey Carson, how come I didn't see you at the Cosmo? 10. I must admit, it's getting much harder for me to ignore the fact that SVG is actually improving on ovals. If he starts winning on ovals, I might have to turn into one of the 1.8 million people that watch NHRA instead of NASCAR this weekend. 8. Crocodile. I thought we were only going to have a few more races left of that nickname, but it seems like he's going to take over for Justin Haley. Good for him. 8. And the Pit Stop Diecast Paint Scheme of the Week goes to Bubba Wallace. Not only is the guy dedicated to gambling, he also didn't wash his hands at the casino, and he took a picture with my wife. And not to mention, his paint scheme totally fucks. Here's this week's top 3. I'll update the point standings next week because it's time to go to Costco. Later.